We're
We
on.
should do a documentary someday. Billy and I could be fun for Billy and I someday to talk about our times together.
Well, maybe we'll do that next time. You guys are down here. All right, so tell me about Slim.
Me? Where are you?
Yeah, Billy, you grew up together. You guys were pals when you were pretty young and started when? When did you first meet Slim? How old were you? How old was Slim?
Slim was a little bit older than me, but I remember Slim before he was Slim. I mean, he was Slim, but he wasn't known as Madison Slim. And he was known as Mark Koenig. I mean, I knew his brother, Bruce, well. He was a keyboard player and also a good harmonica player, too. And matter of fact, all his brothers could play. And I had heard of him. He was playing with all the best musicians that were around in our area in Wisconsin. And he always struck me as a guy that really was a good front man. And he was really good band leader with his, the way he could rock. And the next time I saw him all over the place, just with, he was just getting started, basically.
What year, like,
this is the early 70s, I would say, probably like 72, somewhere starting in that area, or that time. And I know he played with Brian Lee. I was with Brian Lee, and we were leaving the band. We were starting our own band with his brother, Bruce Koenig. And we were leaving, and Slim was coming in, and of course I knew him real well. I don't actually know all the history. I can't tell you what years and exactly what it was, but I just know that Slim was around, he was playing, like I say, with all the top bands in the Wisconsin area. And he was more or less, like I say, a real good musician. And later he found more, things that, when he started going to Chicago, and he started playing with Sam Lay and Jimmy Rogers. And matter of fact, that's how Barrelhouse Chuck and I met, was through Madison Slim.
Yeah, he brought us together. I remember countless times Slim would say, "Oh, you got to hear Billy. You can play all that traditional shit, man. Oops." You can play all that stuff, and he was real excited for us to meet each other. And then he told Billy about me. But his dream was for all three of us to play together. I mean, that was Slim's dream. He says, "That's the dream team. Mm-hmm. If I could have you and Billy and me together." And then it finally happened. Destin's. I still have the poster of the gig, and it's this little flyer thing, and it's
Milwaukee.
Yeah. It was the first time I met Billy, and the first time that Slim gave us the introduction, and he was. He's always funny because he's so excited, when he'd get around us to play. I mean, his enthusiasm was always as high as he was. His enthusiasm was equally, matched. If meaning like his excitement to play and for us to play a tunes together on the bandstand. And here we are, 35 years later, and we just did this CD together. Slim's had more than 9 lives. Countless times, I always worried about him because he lived a real blues life of a blues man, living in, he had a lot of hard times. It reflects what we do as musicians. Our trade is to sing the blues, but to live the blues, to experience what we've all experienced, it comes out in your music. you can look at Slim and you can see he's had a hard life, and he's paid a price for what he's done in his music. And that's my phone here.
Mm.
Anyway, so Billy and I have had this opportunity to reunite our friendships of all three of us together, because I always wanted this to happen, and I was trying to get Billy and Slim together again, because I would play with Billy, numerous times. Billy's my favorite guitar player on the planet. He's on 14 of my CDs at least, or whatever, and we've done 35 plus sessions, and we've traveled all over the world, in Europe, and different bands we've played together, of course now with Kim Wilson. So Slim's name has always come up, no matter if we were in Belgium, if we were playing with Kim Wilson, if we were playing in my band or Billy's band. Slim's name's always been
Very respected.
We've
He's
always
a very respected
Yeah.
harmonica.
We've always said, Slim. We've talked about him. We think about him. And we always wondered why he didn't have his own CD. For a guy that's been pushing, as hard as he has for the amount of years, he deserves to have. That's his legacy. His legacy is, that's what people will remember you when you're dead and gone. It's like all the clubs you play, it's like cigarette smoke. The music's gone. As great as you were that one night, and great as Little Walter was, when it's not captured, that nobody will remember. They'll remember, oh yeah, but when you have a recording, and I think it was a lot of fun for us, because he's got such personality in his playing, his showmanship, and he's also a comical kind of guy when you see him, Slim. You have to laugh a little bit at his humor, and he's had some ups and downs, and forgot his laundry in different places. We'd be on the road, and I say, hey Slim, didn't after you turn your jacket in, or his sport coat or his shirt, and I remember being on the road. See, I personally met Slim. I was with Sam Lay. The first time we met was Niagara Falls, and Wild Child Butler, and Slim, and Dave Clark, and myself. That was the first time that we started to hang and play together, and we shared rooms and stuff, and I kind of always looked after Slim. I was like his babysitter in certain ways, and I'd make sure that he made it back to the room, that he didn't get mugged, or I just remember different times that he would be, he liked to go out after the gigs and have fun, like we all do, but he really, he would burn both candles, and there's a lot of stories, but the main thing I can tell you, he was a great, he could pack the van, pack the Sam Lay had his U-Haul, and Slim was the guy that would pack that thing night after night, and really a good driver, and I could just see him with the cord over his shoulder, and he'd do this thing where he'd like look in the mirror and pull his hand up, and he'd have like these socks on, these harmonica socks that were real loud, and he'd kind of pose and look in the mirror at himself, and he had his pants all the way up to here. He's just a character.
Yeah.
And I love him, and I think he's a great, he really is the blues, and he's a hell of a singer, harmonica player. He's got his own thing, and he's really well respected, and we all know all the harp players, and now everybody knows who he is.
Yeah.
Slim was always fun to play with too for me. Whenever especially in the early years that Slim had a good repertoire. He always had a lot of good ideas for songs. And I think he inspired a lot of harmonica players too. A lot of young guys or other harp players, period. You know, they always liked him, and the audience always liked Slim too. He's a good showman, and they always liked him. He was fun to play with too for me because I would when I wasn't playing, I'd be listening to Magic Sam and Earl Hooker, Elbert King, or whoever, and just listen to all these records of Slim Harpo and listen to, just keep my ears open to all these different guitar styles. And when Slim would do songs, I could always use those licks in there, and I learned how to use a lot of them, and that's why it was fun for me to play with him, because he would do a lot of singing, and I'd have to back him up, and I get to try out a lot of stuff, and it always worked with him. He always had enough faith in me that, like to play behind him. It wasn't even like, we just did it. Just went out there and played it, and it made it sound good, and he trusted me, that's the word, trusted me that I would just like be playing something to make it good and make it feel good.
Well, and then you and Slim worked together in the legendary blues band?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did a lot of things together. I can't think of all of them.
Well, you guys did 3 albums together in the legendary with Slim, or 2?
I think 3, yeah.
3, I think.
3 albums, right.
And
Ichiban Records.
why don't you remind people who else was in the legendary blues band with you?
That was Willie Big-Eyed Smith and Calvin Jones, Fuzz, and Little Smokey Smothers, and Slim. That was the main band for a long time. Before that was Daryl Davis on the piano, but mostly the band was with me and Smokey on guitar. And that was a real good band. We had a really good band. And
of course, that's after Jerry and Pine Top had left.
right.
That
And
was,
we were keeping the band together, and still there was still a little bit of that left of what the legendary was. There was a little bit left. And eventually it didn't work out, and Willie Smith ended up resurrecting his career, as a harmonica player and frontman, and that was a real good thing for him. And those guys loved Slim in the legendary blues band.
Calvin and
Fuzz
Willie.
and Fuzz and Willie and Smokey too. I mean, he was pretty much like a brother, that you had. It was, you just liked the guy.
He really, when he do a song, he would pick songs that were, interesting and different, and, like when you choose your material of the songs that you're going to do, it's fun when you play with somebody that gets obscure tunes, and it's not just the average, Scratch My Back and, the songs which is a great song, but he'll, like this recording session, he pulled out a lot of cool songs, and I was like, wow, how's he going to make that happen? That's not even a harp song, and he's Fats Domino song and different tunes that are
Different.
and he puts his stamp on it, and we all have our influences and our heroes that we always like to keep their memory alive in our playing. It's obvious, Billy style that he loves, Earl Hooker and Hubert and Jimmy Dawkins and Elmore James and B.B. King and Slim, of course, loved Big Walter, Little Walter, and Slim Harpo, Sonny Boy, and when we do music, us three, we put our own stamp on it. I love Leroy Carr and Sunnyland Slim, Pine Top Perkins, and Slim loves Pine Top. He played a lot with Pine, so the marriage of music with musicians, it fits or it doesn't fit. When you play with somebody that is too modern, the music, it doesn't gel. I mean, if I'm playing with somebody that's into playing a lot of notes and fast and I can't relate. It throws me and it throws them, but it was always really comfortable. And I think Slim really, over the years, I haven't heard him play in probably 15 years. So it was a real treat. You know, he still has all the, you know, the magic of what he was. You know, still, you know, I think the CD should give him some long overdue recognition that he deserves.
Mm-hmm. Now you played with him with Jimmy Rogers?
Oh yeah. I met him first when we were Sam Lay.
Mm-hmm.
And, couldn't wait to get away from that. I want to go there. And we both joined up with Jimmy Rogers. Sam's a great drummer, no doubt. But it was a lot of stress. You know, he'd bring 3 different surprise guests on the tour, Sam, and all of a sudden, you know, there's 2 harmonica players, there's this person, that person, and you know, the band would be like 8 people, and you're thinking that there's going to be 4 or 5 of you. And so actually, Jimmy was in the band playing with Sam,
Mm-hmm.
and it was me and Sam and Slim, Jimmy, Wild Child, I think. And then Jimmy Rogers stole me and Slim, and then we went out and played. And I played a long time on and off with Jimmy Rogers, and I've said many times, it was a great, I can't remember one night ever playing with Jimmy Rogers that he had an off night or was too drunk, or, you know, he would hit those songs, and you know, the magic that he had on that Chess Records, he still carried through the rest of his life. And it was a big deal to do That Ain't It or Udella. And I said I played 40 states and 8 countries with Jimmy Rogers. So, you know, I was in the real Jimmy Rogers band. You know, and that was Ted Harvey, Wild Child Butler, Pip Chain, and Jimmy and Slim. It was quite a long trip. We'd get out there and do a gig, and then we'd drive for 45 hours to the next gig.
Oh wow!
And you know, nothing in between. And I remember 45-hour drive, and we get to the hotel and be closed. And we had to sit in the van for another 8 hours till the morning came, and we could check in. You know, we always stay at these little dives out in the country. You know, it was never like at the nice Sheridan, and you know, we were at the Walnut Inn. You know, and you know, Slim kept us amused. I mean, he really did. He was always, you know, he was always doing something. You know, half the time, you know, he would be, you know, he'd be partying, making us all happy and laugh, and then we'd play the music and have a good time. And you know, it was an interesting time. We were young, and back then making it was being in the van 5 or 6 days a week. That was making it. You were driving, playing 7 or 8 shows a week, and you know, your equipment was behind you in the van. If you crash, you know, your equipment would tumble over you. And, yeah, you're making $75 a night. And, Slim, man, he loved it. He loved the road. He loved to be on the road. You know, he liked to have his beer and whatever. You know, he'd go out and smoke his cigarettes, and yeah, he's a real character of what he is. I mean, he's like, you know, you look at Big Walter, you look at these guys. He's like, you know, he has his own legacy. I mean, everybody, every club owner, I mean, every musician knows Slim. And we all love him. We all do. We care about him. You know, I've always wanted him to stay alive, to take care of himself.
So you both happy with what's happened the last couple days in the studio?
I was real happy with that. You know, I mean, just to be reunited,
Yeah.
all of us together again, and really happy with the way that things came out. Like Chuck said, Slim's always, one of his things, he's not a songwriter, but he's a great interpreter of songs.
Yeah.
He always finds good songs, and he came up with some nice things for this recording, and some of them we've been doing for a long time, and it just was good to, you know, to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And Doug Deming, you know, his help was so great in this project too. He
Absolutely, Doug.
without Doug, it wouldn't have happened. I mean, because you know, it's just hard for musicians to really do things unless they have that someone that can just get out there and really do it for you. And Doug came through on it and really played great on the session, and you know, was a huge part of it. You know,
And Mark, the doctor, Mark,
Mike.
you know,
Mike, Dr. Mike.
Mike, sorry. Yeah, what a,
he
Dr. Mike
made it happen.
made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
That was very, you know, just in the nick of time, really. You know, if he'd have waited another couple months or half a year, anything could go down.
Yeah.
And, you know, Mike, thank you for doing that. And he brought us together, you know, to fund all this and to, you know, to make it happen. And thank you. I've known you, you know, known you a long time, Mr. Crossroads Blues Society. So Mark Thompson, I've had a lot of great fun over the years, and yeah, I mean, he'd be down, buddy, guys. He's seen us play, Billy. He's seen us,
Oh yeah,
you know, 50,
all over
50
blues
times.
in the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.